It's Dave from Upgrade Your Home DIY, and homeowners get injured every year by touching live wires when doing DIY electrical projects in their home. Don't let this happen to you by following these 10 steps to avoid touching a live wire. Step 1 is to decide whether to hire a professional electrician because the project you're contemplating is beyond your skill set or your comfort level. Yes, you can learn a lot from YouTube videos that I and others publish about doing electrical projects in your home. But be realistic about your skill set and your comfort level. There's no shame in hiring a professional to do those projects you're not comfortable with, because touching a live wire hurts a lot and it can cause serious injury. So decide whether this project is one that a professional electrician should handle instead of you doing it yourself. If you are comfortable with this electrical project that you want to take on, then step 2 is to identify what breaker controls the circuit for that outlet or switch that you want to work on. I have a video on how you can do this with an ideal 61-534 circuit breaker finder, and I'll link to that video above. You want to make sure that the breaker you turn off is the correct one for the outlet, switch, or light fixture that you're planning to work on. Step 3 is to document your breaker panel so you know what every breaker controls. Unfortunately, in most homes today, those tiny little labels on the breaker panel are unclear or they don't have anything on them at all. Create your own detailed documentation of your breaker panel and put it right beside the panel. I did a video on how you can create this in Google Slides, and I'll link to it up above. This allows you to be much more confident that you're turning off the correct breaker for this and future electrical projects you take on in your home. Step 4 is to turn the breaker off every time. Now that might seem obvious for outlets, but when you're working on a light fixture, don't turn the power off just at the light switch by turning the light switch off. Turn it off at the breaker. See, we're all creatures of habit, and you or someone else that walks into that room or area might just by force of habit turn that switch on. Now those wires are live and you're touching them. Don't let that happen to you. Turn the breaker off every time. Step 5 is to lock the breaker in the off position at the panel. Electricians do this in commercial and industrial settings to keep themselves safe. Now, you don't have to buy the devices that they use. I did a video on how you can create a breaker lockout device using just simple wire and a couple of Wago connectors. I'll link to that up above. See, it's just too easy for someone to go to the panel, wonder why our breaker's off, and just turn it on because they're being helpful. Now you're touching a live wire. This is especially important when you are working on a circuit that isn't going to take just a couple of hours. Maybe it takes a couple of days or even a couple of weeks. By locking it out, you make sure that nobody turns it on and you don't end up touching a live wire. Step 6 is to have the right testers to test outlets, switches, and wires. I think you need 2 types. The first is a simple voltage tester, like this Sperry ET6102 tester. I did a whole video on it and I'll link to it up above. It's a good, simple tester to test outlets or wires. The second tester I think you need is a non-contact voltage tester. This is especially helpful for older switches that don't have a ground wire. See, the Sperry voltage tester needs either a ground or neutral plus the hot wire in order to test it. But if you have one of these older switches, they don't have a ground wire and the neutral is in the box. So with a non-contact voltage tester, you can get it close to the wire and it will tell you whether that wire is live or not. I'll put a link to both of these testers in the description below. Step 7 is to test both outlets to make sure they're both off. See, testing just one outlet isn't good enough because there may be 2 circuits coming to this outlet, one to the top and one to the bottom. Here's a picture of an outlet that has 2 circuits coming to it. See how the metal connection between the 2 screws has been broken. Just because one outlet is off doesn't mean the other one is off. Always test both outlets before you start working on them. Step 8 is to test every switch in a multi-gang switch box before you work on any of them. See, it's really quite common for different circuits to be coming for different switches in a multi-gang box. This particular 2-gang box that has these 2 switches in our basement, I know it has 2 different circuits coming into it. So if I want to work on either one of those switches, I need to turn both of those circuits off to make sure I don't run the risk of touching a live wire. Check every single wire and switch in that box before you work on it. Step 9 is to test every single wire in a box before you start working on it. Due to previous work, could have been by somebody else, you might find out that there's actually a live wire capped off in a box, or that this box is being used as a junction box for multiple circuits. You need to investigate every wire in the box and make sure they're all turned off before you start working on any of them so that you don't risk touching a live wire. And step 10 is to pull test all wires in connectors such as wire nuts or WAGO connectors to make sure that they are tight and they're not loose. Because if they're loose, you could end up with a loose live wire in the box. This is especially important for stranded wires, like you find in many light fixtures. With solid wires, I suggest you always pre-twist them before you put on a wire nut. With a stranded wire, it's really hard to do that because they're so fine. So what I suggest you do is to make sure you've wrapped it around that pre-twisted set of solid wires if you need to pre-twist, and then pull test to make sure that it doesn't come out of that wire nut. When you're using WAGO connectors, verify that all the wires are properly touching the connector bar, and to make sure all the levers are closed and stay closed when you push the wires and the connectors back into the box. If you haven't used WAGO connectors before, I think they're a great alternative to wire nuts for DIYers like you and I. I'll put a link in the description below to a starter pack that has a variety of different WAGO connectors, the 4 most common ones that most of us are going to use in our DIY home electrical projects. When you tackle electrical projects in your home, do it safely. I'll put links to all the videos and products I've mentioned down below in the description. If you have other suggestions on how DIYers, homeowners like you and I, can stay safe when doing electrical projects, please add those in the comments so we can all learn. If you found these tips helpful, please click the like button so other homeowners who want to take on DIY electrical projects can find this video and stay safe. If you enjoyed the information in this video, here are some others I think you'll find helpful. Subscribe to the channel so you get notified when I publish new videos. Thanks for watching.